Hey everybody, Sergeant Ross back here. How's everybody's holidays? Mine's been fantastic. I have been hiding from this and just all of it really. Just kind of living my life. I'm going back to a real job in January. The credit cards are filled up. So I just been enjoying the last month. This is my favorite time of the year between Thanksgiving and Christmas is just filled with family and fun and I've been enjoying it because God knows when I'll be free again. But no, I'm not going back to the state that I know of. Although I do have little hopes here and there. Um, but I am going to have a job in January. So, but I couldn't let the year, um, the year, whatever, the year Jeepers Creepers, 1 year after the anniversary of the Robert Brooks tragedy. I really couldn't let that go because they are all using it to hammer on correction officers again. And I don't want either one of us to do this, right? So I got the news junkie post that I got off Vinny's that somebody put up. I don't remember who put it up, and it's the statement from Governor Hochul. The words she uses are so awful. They're just so division. And honestly, Elise Stefanik does division, but I have to vote for her because her division doesn't hurt office. It helps officers. Whereas I don't want either one of them to do division. I don't want her making fun of Kathy Hochul. All our politicians feel that the best way to motivate us is this vile vitriol and nastiness. I don't want that, and I understand it. I'm not Jesus Christ, man. I'm just a human being and a sinner, and I feel it. Um, I feel it, and I get mad at the governor and her people and what's her name, Salazar, because they abuse the goodness of their constituents. Like it is a good thing to look beyond somebody's sins and see their humanity. So it's a good thing to look at Robert Brooks as a human being and the tragedy that was done to him. Um, but it's a bad thing to flip the switch and look at the officers and what they did and call them depraved individuals. Like so, the guy that stabbed his girlfriend's not depraved, but the people that beat him up are depraved. So technically, you're right. It's a depraved behavior. But first of all, the individuals are just people. They're people that were poisoned by a system, poisoned by, I believe, evil. I truly believe now evil is out there. I've done a lot of soul searching this year, and I believe evil is a real thing. Um, I believe it's what crawled into Robert Brooks's soul, made him stab his girlfriend, and I believe it's what crawls into officers when they use their power, overuse their power and their aggression. I believe that evil is real, and it lives and breathes and hunts us. And that sounds insane to you, but you look at the evil in the governor. The governor's not evil. I don't believe she's evil. But look at the way she brings out here he was beaten to death. She could have said I'm in the very same room where the incident happened, but she didn't want to do that. Something inside her wanted to create that evil because that brings it out. When you read that, if you're pro officers, you're livid because she's doing that and because when she does that, she portrays us all. When she threw that out in the media, it portrayed us all like that and threatened to throw to create chaos in the prisons. Threatened when it came out in Auburn and she immediately put out all that video without knowing a freaking thing when it was illegal, I believe. Like we were waiting for the riots. We were expecting inmates to flip out. Luckily, the inmates don't respond to that because that level of violence seems insane outside of work, but at work it didn't seem. I mean, it was wrong, but and it was wrong that he was cuffed, but that was not a high level of violence, so the inmates didn't overthrow. Matter of fact, they made smart ass comments. I heard them myself. Like I got beat harder than that last Tuesday. But that what the problem with putting all that information because I believe in truth in the light, but when you put it out like that, it made all officers look like that, and it created an unsafe and it made a less safe environment for everybody. Um, so to me, this is the 1 year, and again, I'm not arguing that it wasn't a tragedy, and I'm not saying that the officers were right in any way, but they're not depraved. Don't call them depraved individuals. And if you're going to call them depraved individuals, say that he was a depraved individual. Um, or call none of them depraved individuals. It's a tragic death. I was there where the scene of the incident, and we will find a solution. We will make this better. But it's literally using words to attack officers, and she doesn't have to, and she has to know. We're like the governor of New York State is some of the highest political offices you can obtain. She has to know what she's saying, so she's purposely creating division. That's how I read it, and that's what we don't want. And I'll tell you something else, because it goes to both sides. I look at the comments, and I'm not going to say any names, but when you start saying, oh, what the one guy say? Basically said he's an animal, and he should like that Robert Brooks is an animal. Like it goes both ways. We don't. I They are 100% right when they tell you not to. That the inmates are people. Inmates are human beings. Um, so don't. We need to find the place in the middle. And that doesn't mean I support everything else she says. I truly believe in my heart they're trying to destroy corrections. Um, and that's sad because I don't know if there's gonna like even if I get my job back, I don't think there's gonna. I don't know if there's gonna be corrections in 5 to 6 years because it really with especially without Elise Stefanik in there. Like it really looks like they're purposely trying to destroy. Look at New York City, man. Like these liberals are just caught in this. They're caught up in all. That's why they do that because they get good people. They no mass incarceration. That is a lofty goal. It is a wonderful goal. And all you liberals out there, and I'm talking liberals. The lefties they're too gone. You're too gone. But the liberals who are in the middle and still have common sense left, the goal is to lose mass incarceration to get rid of it. I get it, but we don't have a system set up for that. Just like the halt laws. Oh, you didn't implement the halt laws. No, you made rules and you didn't have a system to implement. It's all pie in the sky bullshit. And then you didn't fund it. You shut down facilities that were better designed to handle it. You didn't do any of that. And then you blamed it on the people that are in the system. You gave them rules they couldn't follow and then crapped all over them. And like, what did you expect? They have to know. They have to know. But back to the point. The point is, we need to find the middle. Don't crap on Robert Brooks and don't crap on the officers because they both did create depraved acts. However, officers are forced to live in that violence every day. And honestly, the same can be made for the culture of the inmates. Usually, an inmate doesn't come out of a clean suburbia, happy household culture. My guess is he came from you know not a good culture. So it can be applied both ways. But these politicians that are just bringing hate and division during the holidays too, it's just gross. And they want to ensure facilities are safe for all, but that's obviously not true. They hate correction officers. Look at how she treated us. You can't say, I think I've heard numbers that they've got like 1,500 back out of the 2,000, which seems really exaggerated to me, but that's the numbers I've heard. But how many they get back? The guys that resigned that just said, nah, man, I don't want any of it. Like our numbers are still way below, and we've been recruiting for a year, and our numbers are still way below, and we still have National Guard, and we're still putting it out. Those people aren't coming back because of the way they were managed. And I've said it a million times, but we have to. If they wanted to solve this, they would come back to the middle. But it's always the stick for the officers, and that's literally literally the problem. Uh, it's just so hard. I've said this. It's the same thing over and over, and I feel like I have to put something out because she put something out, but it's the same trash. They create division and send out emotional garbage to make you hate officers and consider and can treat officers as the enemy, and then I come out and say the same crap. It is tiring, and honestly, it's not that I don't want to fight for my guys. It's just the same. So where do I go? Like I'm doing this podcast and I'm already just losing it right now. I can't stand it. It's driving me nuts. I'm saying the same shit I've been saying for the last year. And all the people who are going to listen, listen. And all the people who aren't going to listen, aren't going to listen. So how do we fix it? I mean, I have great ideas on how to fix corrections, but I don't think they want to fix it. The governor, or not governor, the commissioner, one of the things he said, oh, it drove me nuts. One of the things the commissioner said, let me get over here. I believe it was we have to create trust in our uh what was it? No agency should be defined solely by its worst actors. Yeah, right. But that's not how you put it all out. How do we build trust with the people in our custody? Well, let's try having trust with the people that you manage first, because the people that you manage don't trust you, and and the governor knows they don't trust you, and she's not firing you. And again, this is just stupid for me to say because I do want my job back, but it is what it is. Um, People need to see this for what it is. Do they want a solution? You know, everything that they everything that they've done so far has created more animosity around officers and a terrible work environment, terrible mental health around officers, while they're expecting them to work in this violence and piss thrown and all this with some kind of super 4-year degree in counseling and helping these wonderful people out that just need a chance to, oh, what did he say? Uh, Prison should be a place where you come learn, or redemption is not theoretical but real. Yeah, that's great. But shouldn't you start with gaining the trust of your staff first and treating your staff with that kind of respect and love that you reserve for prisoners? And it's the same stuff I've been saying. It's one of the reasons um I haven't been doing podcasts, because I just feels like I'm in this. It feels like I'm in my old marriage. God bless her. I love my ex, but we had the same fights for. It was just circular. Like after 20 years, you just know when the fight starts exactly how it's going to go, exactly how it's going to end, and that's what we're doing now. I don't want to do that. It's the holidays. I want to focus on love, and but they still do it. They keep that, and that's the problem. Their machine just spews out the hate, and like I can tell you all day, and my people, they love me. I love it. I get people stop me at Walmart, people all the time, and my people love me and they listen to me. But how do you get to the middle? Yeah, I really feel it's we have to start by gaining trust. But I somebody explain it to me. So in the comments, tell me how they're trying to fix the system. So the only thing that they want is accountability of officers. Now they've already put cameras everywhere. You can't sit in a post and talk about your wife and kids without it being on a camera. You can't. There's no place that I can go with another officer and not have a camera there. You wear it on your chest now. It's when you're peeing, there's a camera. Um, so we have accountability. There can't be very much accountability left. But you know, also we have insane amount of drugs. Officers, more than any time in history, are dropping. It's the most unsafe work environment just from drugs. Like, and again, I said this a million times. We are, we knew the job would be dangerous when we took it. But when you're just letting drugs in the prison and not taking the, and then I get it, it got a lot harder really quick. All of a sudden, they figured out how to put it on paper and send it with legal mail. But we know how it's getting, and you control everything that goes in and out of the prison. Um, and you're not taking that, and you got officers dropping left and right. Just here's a good one, and this is kind of off topic. It's not off topic, but it's off the drugs topic. We just had two officers get thrown on Auburn and made the news, and they're going to charge. They're going to go after him for outside charges, and that's wonderful. But I sent a message to a buddy of mine that works there. I said, "Hey, bro, who got thrown on?" He said, "Which time?" I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Man, it happens a couple times a week minimum." And that's the way it was a year ago. It was happening several times a week. One point, and if one of my old videos says this, I talked about it, but we had an inmate that threw 3 times in the same block before he was removed from the block. He threw on officers 3 times. Never had outside charges. I don't believe the third time he even had outside charges. And his mission was to get out of the block. But officers are so scared. They don't want that smoke. And it's not the inmate smoke they're afraid of. It's hers and his. It's our management, not our local management. We have wonderful management. I don't know about other prisons. I can tell you Auburn has the best. But above their head is a pack of wolves trying to eat them. And and I can't count how many times we had throws and there was no crime scene. It used to be a crime scene. That was a big thing to throw an officer, but it's since halt. And the crazy part is halt reduced the prison punishment, but it didn't reduce the punishment from, excuse me, it didn't reduce the punishment from the law. So it's still illegal to do everything that they do. It's just since it's not illegal in prison, they don't always pursue it. It has to be really blatant. A lot of it, poop, has to be poop or smell strongly, and then it's we're understaffed. So then it's a crime scene. Somebody has to be relieved of duty, come up, they have to create a crime log. They have to monitor everybody going in, like, and then another guy has to get relieved and go get collect evidence. Like it's a big process, and they kind of quit doing it for a long time. For the most part, I mean, we were getting them several times a week, and from what I understand, we're still getting them several times a week. All of a sudden, we got one made the news, thank God. But every single one, every single throw should be sent. There should be a public. Go to nysdocs.org and or Vinny's page, guys. Get them out there and post it anonymously. You can do this anonymously. If someone is throwing out, oh, I love. It's so hard. It's so hard because I do want to go back to work someday, and there is still a chance. But this is the information that needs to be made public because this is the stuff they hide. When you're working, getting thrown on. This is why I believe it was the 90s they made it so bad. They made it illegal because officers were getting thrown on constantly. In the special housing unit, they had to literally wear raincoats when they went out because of how much they were getting thrown on. And they made punishment for it, and it almost stopped. And now they've released the punishment, and it's back. And like that's something we can all think it's wrong to throw on somebody. It's wrong to throw piss. It's wrong to throw water. Like it's wrong to throw that stuff, and it's all on camera now, so you can see it. It's all proof. It's not like one of the reasons that they got rid of it was because officers were saying it happened when it didn't happen, or saying it was piss when it was water. But now we have proof. You can hear the whole thing. You can see the whole thing. So you know what? Why we need to maximize punishment for that. It was always one of my biggest. But yeah, funny story or not funny. I've actually talked to one of the officers. He's good. Um, but every time there's an incident, it should make the news. And the local news at least. At least Auburn should know how often their people get piss thrown on them. And why? Why isn't it? I don't know. But one of the fears might be maybe the officer said something and then got thrown on, and that's not good. So it's bad to look at. But I don't care. Give the officer a warning, but still, you don't get to throw on him. The inmate gets the punishment, and that's accountability for everybody. And it is one of my problems is they want all this insane amount of accountability for officers, but they don't want accountability for inmates, and that is it's making the system unbalanced. But I digress. I really felt I had to do this. The governor's just out there, just attacking us some more. We're depraved individuals. And yeah, she just said the ones that are involved with that, but the way she puts it out there, it makes everybody look that way. And you see it all the time. The people on the left look at all guards like this. The way they put it out there, the way they just bring out your emotions. Can you blame them? I mean, just the words where he was beaten to death. That brings out emotions in me. But it is what it is. This is the world we live in. I hope everybody has a happy holiday. Remember, they're all people. Those officers were individuals, human beings. To demonize an officer, in my eyes, is more of a sin than to demonize an inmate, and they're both wrong in this situation. But the lies that they tell, that's what's killing me the most. They're not in here for solutions. They don't want solutions, and I don't even think I don't think it's helping her with votes. But because I think most people understand that not all peace officers or correction officers are evil. Most people just innately know that 14,000 correction officers were not covering for the Robert Brooks guys. Like, it's just common sense. It's not. It is what it is. All right. Still rusty. Not into this, but I love you all. I will get back to the podcast stuff soon. um, God bless you. Look for the truth. Be honest. The truth will set you free. I truly believe that. And we need to find the middle. My biggest thing about truth is I think that they're doing this on purpose, and I'm saying this now so that I can bring it back up in 5 years. I think they're purposely sinking corrections. Um, God, they're even the state. How much money have they spent just because they didn't want to to create trust um, with the people that work for them? And here's another thing: if they were attacking highly aggressive officers, and again, that not again. I don't think I've done this. I've been kind of staying away from this. Just because an officer has a lot of paperwork for use of force, that's not his fault. Quite often, that is the supervisor's fault. They bring in certain people, so you can have officers that have paper trails of of um, of uses of force who are perfectly like the best. Matter of fact, I will say some of the best officers in the jail are officers that have a long list of paper trail uses of force. Um, But if you were actually attacking, if the people that like myself that stayed out for the strike actually were, you know, if you thought we were bad for the culture and you came after us, all right. But there's no indication that we were bad for the culture of prisons. There's no matter of fact, if any, the only thing you can really say is that we stood up for what we believed was right. We wouldn't get bullied. Um, like it seems to me that that is we weren't out there because we wanted to beat up inmates. Like it's not a characteristic of strikers. Strikers are worried about safety and the government and trust in the workplace and safety for us is safety for everybody. So there's no it's not that striking or not going in on that Monday is a way to get rid of bad officers. There's no logical argument for that. The only thing it is guys that stood up for what they believed was right, and the state can't have that. So so look at that when you're looking at all this. And then I'm not talking to my people, and I feel like I'm in a room where only my people hear me. But I'm hoping the clips get out. A lot of us who are out here would help inside, would make things better for officers and inmates inside. And I want them to be fair. I want safety in there. I want it all. I believed in everything corrections. Most everything and this isn't going to ingratiate me to my people, but it's a fact. Um, I have always pretty much always been in support of the what the corrections wanted to do, just not how they do it. Care, custody, control. Amen, brother. But when you don't trust your management, you're like, they don't care about care, custody, and control. They're just doing that for liability. You're in this sense of f them. They're against me. I'm going to do it my way. They have to work on they have to manage their people properly first and get their people like a football team. Perfect example. The football team has to believe in the coach. If the football team doesn't believe in the coach, they will not be successful. Our football team does not believe in our coach, and our coach doesn't give a shit. Our coach is going, well, the other team. They're literally talking about the other team. Um, Coach, you gotta make us believe, and you're not doing that. You're just hammering us, hammering us, hammering us. 3 a days, 3 a days, and that's coaching. So anyways, we're good. I love you all. I am gonna have a phenomenal holiday. And I am going to try and find my place back into podcasting because I truly do hope to podcast. It's just very difficult to keep saying the same thing over and over, and I don't know how to change it. Creating content is so difficult. They get to say the same crap because they don't want the truth. They don't want to help. They just want to create more emotion and create more division. So they can say the same crap and just appeal to the emotions of their side. They don't want to talk to us. They don't want to talk to the middle. They just want red meat for their side. My only prayer is that it bites them in the ass and that they start losing power. And we hold on. And the people who are doing the right thing or believe, or I guess a lot of people believe they're doing the right thing, but you can tell by the fruits. It's in the Bible somewhere. And their fruits are violence and drugs. Like they're literally letting. It sucks that officers beat up an inmate and he died, but how many died from the drugs that they have complete control over? Um, and they're letting them in. They're doing the minimum amount because if it wasn't for the strike, half the stuff they're doing to stop drugs from coming in wouldn't happen. That's all from the officers fighting for the strike because the inmates don't fight at all. To like all these inmate groups, none of them want to stop drugs from coming. None of them are like, we have to stop drugs from coming. My poor brother or husband is doing fentanyl every day, and we need to stop. They're not bitching about that. They're just demonizing the officers. Like, what's wrong with you people? But the answers are out there if you look for them. Doesn't matter if I'm talking to you or the governor's talking to you or Vinny's talking to you. The answers are out there if you look for them. The truth is out there if you look for it. And if you look for hate, you'll find that too. But yeah, I'm done. Not feeling it. I love you all. I'm going to try and get back. I do want my podcast to work, but I am just not feeling it these days. It's all the same crap. And I'll figure out how to break out of it, but not till after Christmas. I love my family. I love you all. Everybody stay strong. Everything's okay. Get off social media. Go outside. See the snow. Focus on your family. Everything is okay. Merry Christmas.